to take care of calves. And in Vrindavan, it's a quite great celebration. It's a celebration of, it's a holiday of cows. Cows holidays. Cows are dressed nicely, and they are given nice food, and also some puja is there. So it's holiday dedicated, fully dedicated to cows, calves, bulls, and all of them. And usually, like, it starts in Krishna Balaram temple, and then it continues in Goshala. A lot of people arriving, and it's pandal, it's a class there. Some of sannyasis or spiritual masters, Prabhupada's disciples, they are giving some class, and it's a very nice, great celebration. And because of this celebration, I've been asked to choose some verse, which will like describe it a little bit. I chose some verse. Maybe it's not so closely connected, but there are mentioned some pastimes of Krishna, very sweet pastimes, which connected to this cows celebration, Gopashtami. You can do it. First we will read this from Bhagavatam, and then we will read from there as well. Yeah, it's on the screen, so we can chant and read it. Evam vrajauka sampritim. Evam vrajauka sampritim. Uchantau bala cheshtitai. Uchantau bala cheshtitai. Kalavakyaksva kalena. Kalavakyaksva kalena. Vatsa palau babhuvata. Vatsa palau babhuvatuhu. Evam vrajauka sampriti. Uchantau bala cheshtitai. Kalavakyaksva kalena. Vatsa palau babhuvatuhu. Evam vrajauka sampriti. Uchantau bala cheshtai. Kalavakyaksva kalena. Vatsa palau babhuvatuhu. Evam vrajauka sampriti. Kalavakyaksva kalena. Vatsa palau. Vrajauka sampritam. Uchanta bala cheshtitai. Kalavakyaksva kalena. Vatsa palau babhuvatuhu. Evam vrajauka sampritim. Yachanta bala cheshtitai. Yaisva kalena. Vatsa palau babhuvatuhu. Evam, in this way, Vrajaukasam, to all inhabitants of Raja, Pritim, pleasure, Uchantau, giving, Balacheshtitaihi, by the activities and pastimes of childhood, Kalavaikyai, and by very sweet broken language. Swakalena, in due course of the time. Vatsapalao, to take care of the calves. Babhuvatuhu, were grown up. In this way, Krishna and Balarama, acting like small boys and talking in half-broken language, gave transcendental pleasure to all the inhabitants of Raja. In due course of time, they became old enough to take care of the calves. In this way, Krishna and Balarama, acting like small boys and talking in a half-broken language, gave transcendental pleasure to all the inhabitants of Raja. In due course of time, they became old enough to take care of calves. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki. As soon as Krishna and Balarama were a little grown up, they were meant for taking care of the calves. Although born in a very well-to-do family, they still had to take care of the calves. This was the system of education. Those who were not born in Brahmana families were not meant for academic education. The Brahmanas were trained in a literally academic education. The Kshatriyas were trained to take care of the state, and the Vaishyas learned how to cultivate the land and take care of the cows and calves. There was no need to waste time going to school to be falsely educated and later increase the numbers of the unemployed. Krishna and Balarama taught us by their personal behavior. Krishna took care of the cows and played his flute, and Balarama took care of agricultural activities with a plow in his hand. Srila Prabhupada ki. Magyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Caitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadanchikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavainibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimad Bhakti Gyana Vasanchirani Bhakti Gyana Samyuktam Radha Madhasinam Haridi Mohachita Dhama Pradarshkam Niham Ajanulambita Bhujo Kanakavadato Sankirtanaya Kapitaro Kamalaya Taksho Vishwambaro Dujavaro Yugdharma Palo Pande Jigat Priyakaro Karunavataro Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahajitao Godadaya Pushpavantao Chitrao Shandao Tamonadao It's a very nice verse, and I read it again, and then I read next one. Just it's like that we have the whole pastime. In this way, Krishna and Balarama, acting like small boys and talking in half-broken language, gave transcendental pleasure to all the inhabitants of Raja. In due course of time, they became old enough to take care of calves. And I read just only translation. It's the next verse, 10, 11, 38. Not far away from their residential quarters, both Krishna and Balarama, equipped with all kinds of playthings, played with other cowherd boys and began to tend the small calves. The next verse. Sometimes Krishna and Balarama would play on their flutes. Sometimes they would throw ropes and stones devised for getting fruits from the trees. Sometimes they would throw only stones, and sometimes they ankle bells tinkling. They would play football with fruits like a bal and amalaki. Sometimes they would cover themselves with blankets and imitate cows and bulls, and ride and fight with one another, roaring loudly, and sometimes they would imitate the voices of animals. In this way, they enjoyed sporting exactly like two ordinary human children. And just the next verse we will read. One day while Rama and Krishna, along with their playmates, were tending the calves on the bank of river Yamuna, another demon arrived there, desiring to kill them. In this, we will keep the intrigue. We will not read further. Yeah. So it's a very nice verse, which describes that when they grown enough, they were growing enough. Krishna and Balaram, they were sent to by their seniors to take care of calves. And Srila Prabhupada, in a very sweet way, says that even they didn't have to, because from one side they were like supreme personalities of Godhead, so they don't need to do, they don't have any duties in material world. From other side, they were like sons of a king, so they no need, they've got like very like from material point of view, the prosperity in their family, so they don't need to have any job, but still, as the sons of Vaishyas, they'll be sent to take care of calves. And Srila Prabhupada said that if you are from Brahmanical family, you need to go and achieve this academic education. If you are from Kshatriya family, you need to go and to get the practical knowledge of taking care of the state. And if you are Vaishya, you should just go and have this agricultural education. So we can see that in Vedic culture, it was like practical education. It wasn't theoretical. And Srila Prabhupada says that he throws a stone into the kitchen garden of the materialists and atheists. And he said, there is no need to take an education in your university just to add yourself to the unemployed people. You need to take practical education according to your nature, and that's it. And Krishna Balarama showed us in their own example how to do that properly. In the proper age, they were just sent to take care of calves, and it was blissful. It was not like some small boys are like exploited by their adults or something. They were just playing flutes. It was very sweet. They were having their games with the other cowherd boys, with the calves. And it said that Balaram was taking care of the land by his plow, and Krishna was sometimes playing flute. And also they've got their games. They were just dressed as cows, roaring to each other. They were just sporting in such way. And also they've got some other games, and demons are coming to them, and they were just like fighting them. So it was the pastimes of Krishna and Balaram there in their childhood. And also one story which I heard, and I guess all of you heard. I heard it from Rasamrita Maharaj. He's a disciple of Radhanath Swami. I've heard this story in Vrindavan from him in such celebration of Gopashtami. He said that when Krishna was sent to, at the very first time of this day of Gopashtami, just directly this day, he went for the taking care of calves for very first time, and Mother Yashoda was very like agitated, very disturbed to take care of Krishna. She said, "My little boy, just put on some, some slippers, some shoes on your feet, and please take an umbrella because it's gonna be hot in Vrindavan. You'll be in the open fields there, and please take." What else she said? I don't remember. Yeah. Just she wanted to take care of Krishna nicely, that her son, gonna be like in a very nice conditions, not being suffering. But Krishna said, one of the names of Krishna we were reading in the verse, yes, Vatsapal. It's the one who is taking care of cows. So Krishna said, "Mom, but we are like, yes, I accepting your care, of course, but we are from family of cowherd. We are taking care of cows for first. It's our dharma. So that means you should give to all calves and to all cows as well an umbrella and the shoes, because they should not be like, I should not be in a better condition than them. So just put on them, dress them nicely, take care of them nicely also, because I'm going to take care of them and you're taking care of me, so take care of them as well." And then Mother Yashoda realized that it's impossible, to give an umbrella to each cow and calf and bull there. So Krishna go with the bare feet to take care of calves. Yes. And Mother Yashoda, like mom, like mother, she was very disturbed that Krishna is going there, very excited. Krishna is going for first time to the fields. What's going to happen to him? Is it going to be nice? Just the sun and the turns on the road. Krishna is going there by bare feet. So yes. And also we're going to read something we've got to read about Gopashtami. After previously having grazed the calves, on this day Krishna first went to graze the cows. In this way he became a Gopa, cowherd boy. In this way, Shri Krishna, along with his elder brother Balarama, passed the childhood age known as Kaumara and stepped into the age of Pauganda, from the 6th year up to the 10th. At that time, all the cowherd men conferred and agreed to give those boys who had passed their 5th year charge of the cows in the pasturing ground. Given charge of the cows, Krishna and Balarama traversed Vrindavan, purifying the land with their footprints. On this day, the Goshalas, cow pens, are cleaned and cows are worshipped and offered prasadam by the devotees. Such a sweet day. Maybe I committed a mistake because I said that today Krishna is going to, in Gopashtami, he is going to take care of cows for the first time. But here it said that having grazed the cows, on this day Krishna first went out to graze the cows. So it's like this, in this day, it's like we are making this shift from calves to cows. In this way, he became a Gopa, cowherd boy. Okay, I'm sorry for this mistake. And also, we've got a very few appearance and disappearance days of our acharyas. So we're going to read about them, some information. Sri Gadadhara Dasa Goswami, it's a disappearance of Sri Gadadhara Dasa Goswami today. And Srila Gadadhara Das is known as inhabitant of the village known as Endiadaha Grama. After the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went from Navadvip to Katwa and established a temple of Sri Gaura Sundara in Katwa. Thereafter, he went to Endiadaha and resided there. In Endiadaha, he established a Balagopala Murti for worship there. He is stated to be the luster of the body of Srimati Radharani, just as Gadadhara Pandit Goswami is an incarnation of Srimati Radharani. He counts among the associates of both Srila Gaura Hari and Nityananda Prabhu. As a devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was one of the associates of Lord Krishna in conjugal love. And as a devotee of Lord Nityananda, he is considered to have been one of the friends of Krishna in pure devotional service. Even though he was an associate of Nityananda Prabhu, he was not among the cowherd boys, but was situated in the transcendental mellow of conjugal love. Sri Gadadhara Goswami is a united form of Chandrakanti Gopi, an expansion of Srimati Radharani's effulgence, and Purnananda as an expansion of Lord Balarama's dear girlfriend. When Lord Nityananda went to preach the Sankirtana movement in Bengal, Sri Gadadhara Das was one of his chief assistants. He preached the Sankirtana movement by requesting everyone to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This simple method of preaching can be followed by anyone and everyone in any position of society. When Gadadhara Das was preaching the cult of Hari Kirtana, there was a magistrate who was very much against his Sankirtana movement. Following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Gadadhara Das one night went to his house and requested him to chant Hare Krishna mantra. The Kazi replied, "All right, I shall chant Hare Krishna tomorrow." On hearing this, Srila Gadadhara Prabhu began to dance and said, "Why tomorrow? You have already chanted the Hare Krishna mantra, so simply continue." Yes, he said, just, "I will chant Hare Krishna tomorrow." So he already said. Once, while he was returning to Bengal from Jagannath Puri with Nityananda Prabhu, he forgot himself and began talking very loudly as if he were a girl of Rajabhumi selling yogurt. Another time, while absorbed in the ecstasy of the gopis, he carried a jug filled with Ganges water on his head as if he were selling milk. When Lord Chaitanya appeared in the house of Raghava Pandit while going to Vrindavan, Gadadhara Das went to see him, and Mahaprabhu was so glad that he put his foot on his head. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu put his feet onto the head of Gadadhara Das, of course. That's how he glad was to see Gadadhara Das. Shri Gadadhara Das Goswami ki. And also we've got Sri Dhananjaya Pandita disappearance today. Sri Dhananjaya Pandit Dhananjaya was a resident of the village in Katwa named Sitala. He was one of the 12 Gopalas, Dwadasha Gopal, cowherd boyfriends of Lord Nityananda. Formerly, he was Vasudama. For some time, Pandit Dhananjaya was in a Sankirtana party under the direction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then he went to Vrindavan. Before going to Vrindavan, he lived for some time in a village named Sanchada Panchada. Sometimes this village is also known as the place of Dhananjaya, Dhananjayerapata. After some time, he left the responsibility for worship with the disciple and went back to Vrindavan. After returning from Vrindavan to Sitalagrama, he established the deity Gaurasundara in the temple. The descendants of Pandit Dhananjaya still live in Sitalagram and look after the temple worship. Shla Dhananjaya Pandita ki jai. And also today we've got the thank you so much for hinting me. Today we've got the Srinivasa Acharya, Sri Srinivasa Acharya disappearance day as well. And Srinivasa Acharya, we've got, if we try to glorify him, just try to glorify him in a whole, like in a whole measure, just try to tell everything about him. It take us like hours, because a lot of facts are known about him, and he was a really great personality. We know that sometimes our sampradaya called like sampradaya of tears. Yes, so it's very jolly, it's very blissful, but in the mood of separation. And how we know the Srinivasa Acharya was manifest this separation very like Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna was playing with him to show all this separation. I'm not mistaken. Yes, it was with him. Yes, that he came to Lord Chaitanya to Navadvip, but at that time it said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu already left this world. Or it was with Narottam Das Thakur. I don't remember. Remind me, please. Narottam Das Thakur, yes. Yeah, but they were great friends with Srinivasa Acharya, yes. Let me just read, not speculate. After witnessing Lord Chaitanya's sannyasa ceremony at Katwa, Chaitanya Das and his pregnant wife visited Lord Chaitanya in Jagannath Puri. Soon your wife will give a birth to a son named Srinivas, and through Srinivas all the Bhakti Shastras of Rupa and Sanatana will be distributed, said Lord Chaitanya. That's him was preaching, yes, with this Yeah. And he preached to one king as well, yes? Yeah. When his father left this world, Srinivas visited the remaining associates of Lord Gauranga in Katwa, Navadvipa, and Puri. They blessed Srinivas and gave him valuable instructions for spiritual advancement. Seeing his absorption in Gauranga Prema, they knew he was an embodiment of Gaura Shakti, the energy of Sri Chaitanya. He went to Vrindavan, toured the 12 forests of Vrindavan, and took Diksha from Gopala Bhatta Goswami. Sri Jiva Goswami taught him the complete philosophy of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Acknowledging his vast learning, Sri Jiva gave Srinivasa the title Acharya. Accepting Sri Jiva's order, Srinivasa and two friends, Shyamananda Prabhu and Narottama Das Thakura, pioneered the first transcendental book distribution party. Haribol! Jai. They took a bullock cart of the Goswami's devotional writings from Vrindavan and passed them out all over Bengal and Orissa. We can remember this story how this cart was stolen by the king. What's his name was? Birhambir, yes, exactly. So he stolen this, and then after that, Srinivasa Acharya came to him in a very humble manner. He preached to Birhambir. First of all, he was like, became one of them. He was like sitting and listening to Srimad Bhagavatam in their palace. And then he started to correct something to like make an addition. And they were just like astonished. They thought, who is this guy really? Who is him? And then, and at that time, this cart was in Birhambir's palace. So somehow or other, he was just conquered the heart of Birhambir king. And Birhambir said, what do you want? Tell me, what do you want? I'm accepting you as my guru. And he said, just give us back all the writings of the Goswamis. And also, yes, I will give you an yes, yeah, Goswami's books. And Shishi Kodanitai, Mayapura Shashi ki, Shri Tumasnath Maharaj ki, Shri Giridhar Maharaj ki, Shri Singadev Bhagavan ki, Shri Yashoda Damodar ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So, yes, and he just surrendered, this king, Birhambir, he surrendered. And just please correct me if I'm wrong. It seems like it was in Orissa, and this king and all his all the inhabitants of this kingdom, they became Vaishnavas, devotees. And he said that you all should chant 64 rounds of Mahamantra, and the one who is not chanting, please come out of the border of my kingdom. Just leave it. Am I correct? Just maybe it's some other story, no? Just King Birhambir told everyone in his kingdom to become a Vaishnava and to chant Hare Krishna at least 64 rounds. And the one who is not chanting, just leave the kingdom, please. Is it? No? It might be from other story, but you know, it shows the power of Srinivasa Acharya. And replica from down. So yeah, so by the mercy of Srinivasa Acharya, this King Birhambir, he surrendered totally and he became Vaishnava. And that's how this, in a very gentle way, in a very intelligent way, very humble way, they just took this Goswami's books back. It's like you need to be a genius to do it like that, in this way. No guns, no bombs, no war. Just make him surrender. Srinivasa Acharya initiated many disciples, Ramachandra Kavaraja and others, wrote songs full of bhakti, including Sadgoswami Ashtakam, and introduced a special kirtana style. When leading kirtana, he would sometimes lose his voice from chanting so long. Besides his external activities of preaching and writing, Srinivasa Acharya practiced intensive Raganuga bhajan, spontaneous internal worship of Radha and Krishna based on the mood and sentiments of the eternal residents of Sri Vrindavan. Shri Srinivasa Acharya ki. So maybe some questions. Maybe someone wants to say something. Some reflections. Yes, please.
That story about Krishna asking the Yashoda to make shoes for all the cows. That story is recorded in the Bhagavatam.
Oh, wow.
It took many years to find out where it's from, because when I first asked everybody where it was from, they said it was just like a traditional story from Vrindavan. It wasn't any Shastra. And I later found it in the book. The book which is dedicated to all of Krishna's games, which is recently published. Showing Tackle wrote that from God. So it's in there. And it also that story of Yashoda asking Krishna to asking Yashoda to make shoes for the cows reminds me of another story which was told by Rayani Mataji when she was doing classes on Sri Bhagavatam in the Institute of Higher Education. So she was reporting that Sri Prabhupada once was in the USA and he was visiting a farm community, I think it's in Santa Fe, it was either in Arizona or New Mexico, and he was asking how the cows were, and the witness there said that the cows had died, because they didn't have enough money to feed them. And Sri Prabhupada said, how many Brahmins died? And, so when I heard that story about Krishna asking his Lord to make shoes with cows, and it reminded me of that story that reminded me of that story. So I just felt like Sri Prabhupada was like taking on the same route there. Like, that's what it means to protect cows. It means that the cows are more important. The life of the cows is more important than the life of the people who are looking after the cows. Just like sometimes we hear about parents who like sacrifice their whole lives to look after their children when they have some rare disease. There was a very famous case about 30 years ago about a very rare disease. His parents spent their whole lives traveling all over the world to get money to pay for their child's operation, which cost like £10 million or something like that. But then it's just that story that really like brought home to me like the responsibility we got in looking at cows. And because they're so dear to Krishna, and we have to be more dear to the rest of our own lives. Anyway, there's the woman shouldn't actually ask for help. She shouldn't just take them that burden themselves. I'm sure if they let this war deal in the USA, and they could be able to raise the funds to buy food for cows.
Yeah. Thank you so much for emphasizing this point about the taking care of cows. I wanted to mention it, but somehow or other, just lack of time. But it's very important. Yes, that's the mood of Krishna. That's the mood of Srila Prabhupada. Of course, yes, certainly. Pip, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Actually, the Nanda Maharaj was like wasn't king as a kshatriya. He was like a chief, like he was a main person in amongst Vaishyas. So maybe he was not like a king in our understanding as a kshatriya. But Krishna was kshatriya because from one side, because he was born as a kshatriya. He was born as a son of Devaki and Vasudeva, who was kshatriyas for sure. And Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, they were Vaishyas. So Krishna was taught as Vaishya and was grown up as Vaishya. But when he moved from Vrindavan, he started his life as a Kshatriya. So that's very like, it's a Chintya Veda Tattva. And sometimes the opponents of Krishna, the one who want to criticize him in his times, especially Shishupal, for example, they said he's a cowherd boy. He's not a kshatriya. Why you are like dealing with him like with a kshatriya? He's not. He's just a cowherd boy. Yes. So did I answer your question? Yeah, yeah. This,
You quoted one verse where was it here? You quoted the verse where it said because Balaram looks after the agriculture, he carries the plow, and because Krishna looks after the cows, he carries the flute. Is it in this chapter or is it in the book?
no, it was here. It was just in purport, maybe yes, somewhere.
So I also did a little bit of research about this because I was interested to find out whether other, like in general in the Vaishya community, so in general in like the modern day, like Wala communities, whether they still use flutes to herd the cows. And I couldn't find any record to see that they did. But in Africa, in certain, especially in Kenya, and like the tribes of the Maasai, like cows are like treated very with great respect. And in those tribes, they use flutes for the cows. And also there's in China as well, there's a famous folk tale about a bullock boy who like boy who rides on a like as a bullock, and it's called the bullock boy and his flute. And it's a really nice story. So,
Story about Krishna.
if you come across any, because in that, the way you said, because Krishna is a cowboy, he carries a flute. Or we also read like in the Rama Samhita that flute is Krishna's eternal companion. And it has many different functions. Something like the peacock feather also is like an eternal decoration. But then in other parts of the Bhagavatam it says Krishna decorates himself with like the different colored earth, the different colored minerals, the feathers from the different birds, not just peacock feathers, but other feathers and grass and twigs. So in one sense, it sounds like Krishna, like Gopal Krishna, uses the flute and the peacock feather and the horn and the stick because he's a cowherd boy. question.
I guess I don't know how to answer. Maybe someone can answer.
So the question is, like, there are pastimes where it's said that Krishna decorates himself. Krishna decorates himself just with what they can find in the forest. Just like children will do that. When they're playing games, they put flowers in their hair,
Yeah.
cover their face, and other things. So it's like part of Krishna's, and Krishna's almost like Krishna saying he's enjoying himself as a cowboy boy, because he likes to get dirty, he likes to play in the fields. Whereas you can't do that when he's in water, or
Yeah.
like, just like Jagannath's movie goes to the beach as he wants to do by the movie in Bhagavatam. But then we also read that that the eternal Goloka, the spiritual world, which is also the boy there, and that this is his eternal nature. So surely the question is like, if it's Krishna's eternal nature to do those things, then how does he get fun from doing it? It's almost like he gets pulled through the cow urine in the cow stool, in Brother Marsh's house. There's lots of naughty things that the cow does because he wants that kind of relationship. But in the spiritual world, this relationship is with the devotees who's eternally 16 years old. And those kind of pastimes, not so, also, those kind of pastimes.
Yeah. I don't know about it. Okay, so we're gonna stop here because we are already over time. Thank you so much for such a nice discussion. Hare Krishna. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Kapashtami Lila ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Very big Krishna books. It's in those books of the Chaitanya, the very first edition.